Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I will be going through my least favourite books of the year. Now I don't like talking about my least favourite books. I like to be quite positive about when it comes to reading because I've read so many books this year. I do have a load of books that I've absolutely loved and adored, but I do have a list of my least favourite ones that I've read so far this year, and I thought I would just give you a little bit of a rundown through them and give you my opinion as to why I don't like them as much. And this is no hate against any of these authors. I just personally didn't enjoy these books when I read them, and I thought I would just tell you on why I didn't like them. So I have 6 books in total on this list. 3 of them I don't actually own, and then 3 of them I do own. So I'm going to go through the ones I don't own first, and that is because one of them I read and then sold it because I didn't like it, and then the other 2 were ones that I read on my Kindle. And yeah. So, right, if I keep looking to the side, it's because my iPad's there and it's got my list of books on it. So the first one is Orion Regret by, I think it's Orion Regret? Yeah, Orion Regret by Sadie Kincaid. This was the most recent like novella in her Orion Rule series, and the reason I didn't like this is like, yes, okay, it was only a novella and it was only like 37 pages long, and that's fine because I've really loved all the novellas that it was only like a 37-page novella and I do normally really enjoy them, but I feel like at this point she is very much dragging out the series just so she can like get more money for it and she can just like build on it, like the love of the other books. And I love the Ryan series. Like, it's one of my all-time favorite like mafia romance series. I read the entire series in like a month, I think last year or the year before, and I absolutely adore them. They're amazing and I love to just like skim read over them again sometimes. I don't fully reread them, but I do want to do a full reread at some point soon. But I feel like at this point she's just kind of milking it with this series, and I feel like she needs to stop with the novellas because they're all the same at this point, and I'm just getting a bit bored, if that makes sense. So yeah, I gave that one I think like a 2-star. It feels bad like rating novellas, but like even normally I don't normally rate the novellas like a 3 or a 4-star, but that one I was just like, okay, she's just kind of milking this for more like views on her books. Up next is one that I did own, and this is the one that I owned and then sold, and that is Bride by Ellie Hazelwood. I'm probably gonna get hate for saying this, but I absolutely hated that book. No, I know Ellie Hazelwood is a beloved author, but honestly, I did not vibe with her writing at all. I did not enjoy it. I did not enjoy the book at all, and I think that was mainly because the main female character in that book had no substance to her whatsoever. She did not have any character development. She was so bland. She just had nothing about her that was intriguing, and like I was really excited for that book because it was a vampire and a werewolf romance, and I love anything like that. Like, I love vampire like romances and werewolf romances and things like that. Like, I grew up reading those kind of stories on Wattpad, and when I first went into it I was kind of expecting it to kind of be like a Wattpad kind of book, and like I know a lot of people call Wattpad books like crappy and stuff, but I genuinely enjoy a lot of them. But this kind of felt like the bad version of a Wattpad book, and I just really didn't enjoy it. I didn't like the writing. I think one of my friends tried to read it as well and they DNF'd it like a few pages in. And yeah, no, I just found like the main guy was just annoying. The main female character was annoying. There was no character development. There was no plot really, and what plot there was just didn't really make any sense. And I know it's meant to just be like a goofy fun time, but I just genuinely found it a little bit insufferable, if I'm being completely honest. So I think I ended up giving that a 3-star, but honestly thinking about it, I'd probably even lower my rating now. I read that book really quickly, but I think I read it so quickly because I wanted it to be over and I listened to the audiobook of it. But yeah, no, I felt like it just didn't really work. And it made me realise I don't really like Ellie Hazelwood's writing, so I did sell all my Ellie Hazelwood books, because like, I know people say, oh, well, like only reading one book from an author doesn't mean you're going to hate all their books, but I really didn't like her writing style, so I was just like, yeah, no, I'm getting rid of these. The next one, I can't even remember why I didn't like this book because I read it so long ago and it's like all memory of it has completely left my brain. But the next one was If You Dare by Harmony West. I was feeling myself go into a little bit of a reading slump. And yes, this helped get me out of that reading slump, but not in a good way. So I just wanted like a quick, easy, like spicy romance, and like something that was a little bit darker, for my usual reads. And when I read this, honestly, I was skimming most of it because I was like, what on earth is happening in this book? It was just kind of ridiculous. I didn't really enjoy the writing. I didn't like the characters. The spy scenes weren't even that great. So honestly, like, I can't even really remember anything about this book, but all I know is that I gave this book a 2-star and I really just did not enjoy it at all. But yeah, no, that's the last of the ones that were my least favourites. Last ones that were my least favourites that I don't own. Now to the ones that I do own. First up is one that I actually DNF'd, but I still wanted to include it because I had a lot of opinions on the parts that I did read, and that is Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Meyer. Now, I was really excited about reading this when I originally got it because I was following her series on TikTok. But when I read this, I think I spent more time rolling my eyes than I did actually reading the words on the page, because first of all, the main character is insufferable. She is insufferable. And I know she's meant to be like quirky and funny and strange, but honestly, she wasn't quirky funny in a fun way. She was quirky funny as if you want her to shut up. I didn't like the way she spoke. I didn't like how she acted, and I found like her inner dialogue just really cringy. And I spent more time, like I said, rolling my eyes and cringing at this book than I did actually reading it. I think I did a video on this, and I think I DNF'd this book like 50 pages in. Maybe not even that. I really did try, and I really was kind of let down because I really wanted to enjoy this book, but it was just stupid to me. And like the whole thing with the villain and everything, and I just, yeah, no, I just found it a little bit ridiculous. And I think that I'm like, I think if I'd forced myself to finish this book, it would have really put me in a slump, just because I really wasn't having a good time with it. I wanted to try and force myself to finish it in that video, but I just couldn't do it. So yeah, I DNF'd this book, and I will be selling it. I don't know why I won't be selling it. I am giving this to my friend Maze because they want to read it, and maybe they'll like it. And I know a lot of people have liked this book. I personally just found it seemed kind of juvenile, to be honest, and yeah, I didn't have the best time with it. So the fifth book is one that I actually read for a video on my channel, and I also read it for a book club, and that is Cross the Line by Simone Soltani. This book just made me cringe. It wasn't that great of a sports romance, if I'm being completely honest. Like, I've read one other sports romance, and this book just kind of felt like a cheap, well, not one of a sports romance, one of a F1 romance, and this book kind of felt like a cheap carbon copy of that book, but not as good. So yeah, when I was reading this, it kind of felt like the plotline of it was very, very similar to the other F1 romance I read, which was Throttled by Lauren Asher. I gave that one 4-star. I gave this one a 3. And I just kind of felt like this book was just trying to be that one, but it wasn't as good. I cringed at a lot of it. Honestly, I did not like the guy. The girl was okay, but she wasn't the best. And the main girl in this book has like a, I guess like a health issue with her bones, like her joints pop out of place all the time. She's in a bit of pain and stuff. And like, I thought that was going to be more of a plot point in this story, but honestly, it was kind of just there. And like, it kind of felt like it was just put in there to just give a bit more like thing, like a bit more like, the way I describe it to my friends is a bit more spice to the characters. That's not what I mean, but you know what I mean. Like, it means I kind of feels like it was just added to her character to give her a bit more, but it wasn't really like a main point of the story. And if you're going to give a character something like that, you need to kind of go a bit deeper with it. I also just didn't like some of the some of the like quotes that and stuff from it. I think one of them was the way he kissed her and he said she tasted like the sweetest of sin, and I was like, nope, not doing it. But you know, I just really didn't have a good time. The only reason I'm keeping this edition of my book is because it's got really pretty sprayed edges. That's the only reason I'm keeping this book, because I want the cute sprayed edges and I quite like them, so you know. But yeah, no, it just, something about the characters just didn't really gel with me. I wasn't gelling with the writing, to be completely honest. I did not like the main guy. The main girl was okay, but she wasn't the best. And I think that if you want to read an F1 romance, you should read the Dirty Yeah series by Lauren Asher. I'm putting that in because I feel like if I don't say that, Geordie may yell at me. Speaking of Geordie, she has a YouTube channel. It'll be linked below. You should go check it out. It's really good. Anyway, yeah, no, I don't think this was the best, and I didn't have the best time with it. And then the final one, I think this next one is my least favourite. And you can tell by the amount of time it took me to read it. And that is Cemetery Boys by Aidan Thomas. This book had so much potential to be so incredible, and it just fell so flat. I ended up giving this a 2.75 stars. I did not enjoy the characters. I found them to be annoying. I thought it was very, very drawn out. Like, this entire book spans over 4 days. And like, it's not even that long, but it feels like it lasts forever. This isn't anything to do with like the book itself, but like the writing is tiny as hell. And yeah, no, I was so excited for this when I picked this up. I've had this on my shelf for a while now, and I started reading it in December of last year. I did not finish it until September of this year. So it took me like 9 months to read this book. I think it was September anyway. And yeah, no, it fell really flat. I felt like it dragged a lot. It was way too over descriptive. Like, I like a lot of description in my books, especially if they've got like a fantasy aspect like this one does, but I don't want you to do it to the point where I literally feel like I've read an entire monologue about the colour shirt the person is wearing. And yeah, no, I found like that it was a book that could have been so amazing, and it just did not pull through. And the way it ended, like, I think there's supposed to be a sequel to this, and honestly, if there is a sequel, I may read it, but it's very unlikely that I will. The only reason I'm keeping this is because I kind of like the cover, and also underneath the dust jacket is kind of pretty, so that's the only reason I'm keeping this book on my shelves. But who knows, I may end up actually selling this as well. But yeah, no, I also found a lot of it quite predictable. This was honestly looking at being just a 2-star, but the end of the book bumped up the rating to a 2.75 because I did really enjoy the ending. But the rest of the book was not worth the payoff that we got. So yeah. Wait, actually, speaking of books not being worth the payoff, another one about this, the third act conflict in this book was so freaking ridiculous. Like, they spent the entire book basically, because like this is a brother's like best friend romance, and like they spent the whole book worrying about how her brother was going to react to them being together, and then he basically just didn't care. And it was so anticlimactic. I was like, are you kidding me? I've read this entire book just for that little tiny thing. So yeah, that was another thing about this one that I forgot to mention. But yeah, no, those are my least favourite books of the year. I probably rambled on a lot in this video because I am filming this at like 6:45 in the morning, and I have had no sleep, so you know, fun. But you know, that's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like, comment and subscribe, and hit that little notification bell so you know when I upload. I upload every Friday at 6 p.m, but at the moment this is Vlogmas, well not Vlogmas, it's Bookmas, so I am uploading every 2 days, but this is day 11 at the moment actually that this one is for, so there will actually only be one more video of Bookmas, but if you guys have enjoyed Bookmas, let me know in the comments below, and if you've read any of these books, tell me what you think. If you enjoyed them, if you didn't enjoy them, let me know, but don't be mean, because I'm sensitive and I will cry. But yeah, no, that's it, and I will catch you next time.